Welcome back to Made in Japan. That's right, the P1S is the best printer for Japan. And you could close the video and walk away, but I know you're curious as to why. So hit that like and subscribe button and listen to my 3 amazing reasons why it is the best printer for Japan. When I first moved to Japan back in 2016, I was a lowly English teacher in the middle of nowhere, Aomori. I thought I would only be away from my family and friends for a year or two while I explored Japan. Around that time is when 3D printing started to get a lot of popularity. I had actually already purchased a Kickstarter printer about a year or two before I left the US, but I had so many problems that I didn't think it was worth taking with me, so I left it behind. So with the resurgence of desktop hobby printers, I started to get curious and wanted to try again. The Ultimaker was the standard. It was far too expensive for my teacher salary, so I poked around at the cheaper Prusa clones. The ANET A8 was prone to fires and probably not the best for wood and tatami Japanese apartment. And I was seriously considering the TiVo Tarantula when I heard about the Creality CR10. It was a huge printer with a 300 by 300 by 450 print volume and a massive community on Facebook, Reddit, and all over the internet that was helping new makers figure out their printer. I imagined printing all sorts of cool anime swords, cool gadgets, video game swords, tools for my classes, and most of all, swords. It was a great printer for the low price of $300. Crazy cheap and very inexpensive. This was definitely not the perfect 3D printer for Japan. It was big, loud, inconsistent, and prone to having warped beds, glass, and prints. But I really learned a lot, commented a lot, and even taught a little. The online community is what really made the CR10 worthwhile. Along with its simple design and simple hardware, it made it really easy to identify the problems and fix it, usually by printing a new modification. But in the end, the biggest issue was the fluctuating temperatures. And I don't mean the printers, although I did have that problem once. Some may not know, but Japan gets very hot and humid in the summer, so most houses are designed with very little insulation. This is to prevent the walls from getting moldy, and most house and apartment designs are very open, so that the air can flow through and help prevent the mold by drying out the house. The downside is, though, the cold winters will blow right through your apartment. Newer houses might not have this issue, but no teacher has a salary that can afford such luxuries as new housing. My winter routine was usually to wake up around 5 a.m., turn on the kerosene heater, and promptly go right back to sleep. Then wake up around 6 o'clock and run to the shower to help warm my body up. The temperatures inside the apartment could reach below freezing, so you better hope that you don't have to get up and use the bathroom in the middle of the night, cause man, that cold toilet seat really wakes you up. Now you might be thinking, that's a cool story, but what's that have to do with 3D printing? I'm getting to it. In most cases, you can print most plastics without an enclosure. However, not even PLA can stand up to the cold Japanese winters unprotected. For my CR10, I had to insulate the heated bed, create a heated enclosure, and still I had a lot of issues keeping it warm enough for the PLA not to warp. It was a lot of hassle. Being loud, I didn't want it in the room I was sleeping in, and I really didn't want to pay to heat the even breezier room that I was not sleeping in. Also, running a kerosene or a space heater all night just to keep my prints warm just doesn't sound very safe. The CR10 is a bed slinger or portal printer, so it takes up a lot of space when the bed swings back and forth. So creating an enclosure makes it quite large, and it's a big area to heat. The enclosure I made just took up way too much space in my tiny apartment, and I knew that an enclosed Core XY printer was definitely the way to go. And that brings us here today. It's time to say goodbye to my partner of 8 years, and welcome in my new friend, the Bambu Labs PS1. Nope. The Bambu Labs P1S. The P1S is the best printer for Japan. It's a Core XY enclosed printer, so there's no more worrying about room temperatures. In fact, some people even have overheating issues. For my second point, it might sound a little cliche, but I always ask Japanese people, what are their hobbies? 1, because it's an English phrase just about everyone has learned. And 2, because most people just don't have one. You can usually spot it in Japanese media, like video games, anime, and TV shows.
その意味がわかるか。今年はもう終わった。箱根学園がやるべきことは次のインターハイで勝利するほかない。そしてもう次のインターハイ。
Up until their second year of high school, kids have clubs and hobbies, but unless they make it to some kind of amateur or pro tier level in their junior year of high school, that hobby is dead. Most drop it completely and head off to the adult world of working jobs from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. with unpaid overtime. Most people just don't have time for their hobby. And the work culture in Japan is not a place to talk about side interests, hobbies, or anything like that. Even friendly get-togethers with coworkers or old friends is usually just complaining about life and work, and they just don't have time to learn how a printer works, how to set it up, how to slice models, how to design, all that kind of stuff. So that's another reason why the P1S is just the best printer for Japan. It is just so easy to use. The Bambu app makes it easy to look for printable items and reprint projects that you've already printed with just a few clicks. Perfect for a country where less than 70% of the population doesn't even own a home computer. I've only just received my Bambu Labs P1S, but I've already used it for a lot of projects. Just that ease of use and convenience makes it well worth it over my CR10. For our last point, imagine this. You're living in the heart of Tokyo. Perhaps a dream come true. You come home to your cozy 1DK apartment, take off your shoes at the entrance, and step into the kitchen. And 2 more steps through the bedroom to change into some comfy home clothes. 1 more step and you're out on the balcony, where you can toss your dirty clothes into the washing machine. Why is there a washing machine on the balcony? Because that's the only place for it. It doesn't go in the kitchen. You probably have a mini fridge, chairs, and a table. There's just no room there. Or how about the bedroom? No, that's where you put your TV and pull out your futon every night for sleeping. Perhaps the toilet shower combo? Yeah, maybe not. I think you can understand. Most people in Japan have pretty small apartments or houses. People interested in Japan have probably seen things like capsule hotels or tiny apartment videos on the internet, but you might not realize that normal Tokyo apartments are actually pretty small too. Here is a tour of my last apartment. And this is a pretty good size apartment for a single guy in Tokyo. Still not convinced? Check out these floor plans. Or this one. Luckily in my apartment, there's a place for the washing machine at all, even if it was outside. But many apartments in Tokyo and other big cities don't have the space for this vital appliance. Not to mention how rare it is to find dryers, dishwashers, and ovens in Japanese apartments. A 3D printer might not take up a ton of space, and a Core XY build definitely helps, but the other downside is doing longer prints and projects. I don't really want a loud 3D printer in my bedroom. It's pretty hard to sleep with it right next to my face. Even in the other room, if you're lucky enough to have one, it's still a bit too close. Maybe the balcony? I don't know. The reason the P1S is the best for Japan is both its size being Core XY and its amazing speed. I recently designed these Intel CPU cases, hopefully to sell. If I tried to print this on an Ender 3 or my CR10, it would take a few hours to print, and with me only being able to use the printer in my waking hours, when I'm not recording a video, and when I am at home to reset it, this limits my production times. But my P1S can print this in less than half an hour on ludicrous mode. That's 4 times the speed, and it still has better quality than my CR10. So that's it. The P1S is the best printer for Japan because it's a compact, enclosed Core XY printer that is extremely easy to use, can fit in any Japanese apartment, and is also pretty sleek and stylish. All in all, I don't think I'll be getting rid of my CR10, but it will really only be used for laser cutting and engraving from now on. The Bambu P1S is going to take its place on my printing shelf as my main printer going forward. Look forward to seeing it in my future videos, and perhaps I'll do a video later updating any changes or modifications that I've made. If you like this video, hit that like and subscribe button so you can catch my next videos. If you like this one, well, you can check out my video on the 3018 CNC. Bye!